What's up, everybody? It's Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Space Engineers, back on our survival Let's Play. And as you can tell, where they are, I don't know, but I have taken the advice of some of the comments and replaced the wolves with zombies! So now I'm free to kill them without remorse or sympathy, because zombies, no one cares. So, yeah, I got tired of killing the wolves, and I had gotten a couple suggestions for zombies. I was really hoping that there was a mod that would put it back to the Cyberhound type of thing, because I really like those. It made them kind of sci-fi, but, you know, a little bit different. And as you can tell, one cool thing is they did the major update thing of the UI, so the UI is new, which is fun. I like it. It'll take me a while to get used to some of the new settings, or not settings, but basically just explanations and readouts and information and all that stuff. But overall, I like how it looks. I think it's a good improvement, and it kind of matches the whole new block textures and all that kind of crap. As far as what we're working on today, ooh, there's scrap. I'm not really sure, to be quite honest. I had done the oxygen farm in the last episode, and a couple people were telling me that I didn't really need that because I'm on a planet. I know that part. I really did it because I was told a while back on a Let's build, or not my Let's build, but when I was building my Corvette build, I was told that the oxygen farms will generate both oxygen and hydrogen. And I've been told now that that's not the case, but the weird part is it doesn't seem to be doing anything. So I get that all I really need to do is put ice in the generator, but the fact of the matter is these are supposed to go off of solar and make oxygen, and I don't know why it's not. So, I mean, I've got the conveyor ports and everything hooked up, but neither of these tanks are receiving anything, which, to me, is very strange, because, I mean, obviously it's all green, so it's getting something, but it's not doing anything. The only thing that I thought of recently is, like, if it's not getting enough power or something, but it's showing oxygen output at 1.46 per minute. Yet the tanks of either side, even if it doesn't make hydrogen, the oxygen is still not filling up. So I don't really know what that's about, to be quite honest. I think what I'm going to try and do is basically directly connect the oxygen farm to the tank and see if it'll do something then. Because some people have told me that it doesn't make hydrogen. I don't know. I thought it did. If it doesn't, that makes sense too. But I was thinking that it did. So, yeah. I don't really know what to do about that, really. Because primarily I wanted it for a hydrogen generator, honestly. That's really what I was going for. So that I could keep refilling my jetpack without needing ice or any kind of, you know, basically kind of like the solar panels of keeping it renewable was the idea. So it really wasn't because I needed oxygen, because we're on a planet, so... Though it is interesting that it says, if you'll take note of the new UI down here at the bottom, it does tell you oxygen levels, and it actually has it as low, which is interesting, all things considered. Because, you know... Alright, so... Now... Because I'm wondering if... I don't think the conveyor should have a problem. But... maybe it does. I don't know. We're gonna find out. So yeah, I know that I can always use the ice and stuff, but I was kind of hoping that I just have a renewable source for hydrogen and stuff. Now, this is redded out now. But see, the light came on for the farm now, or for the tank. So that's interesting. It's not got any output. That makes sense. And the tank's at 18% full. Now, why the tank is red, I'm not really 100% sure. But, you know, what are you going to do? And now this is red. Interesting. That's very interesting. Anyways, so I think what I'm going to work on is this area, and I'll probably... this is going to be dubbed experimental at the moment. Like, I'm not going to leave it where it is. I'm just going to test some stuff with this to see what works and what doesn't. Unfortunately, I think I timed this poorly, and we're at the end of a day cycle, it looks like, so it's probably going to go around that way. Oh well. I do agree with some of the comments, though, that were saying that I must be on a pole, like a north or south pole of the planet. I agree, because that seems very much the same kind of behavior that you would get, like, up in the Arctic, of where the sun doesn't ever really set until, like, different seasons where it's in a different position. But I don't think they went that far. Like, I know that the sun or the planets rotate, but I don't know if they orbit or not. I almost said I know the sun rotates, and I was like, wait, no, that's not how that works. So I know they have the planets spinning, that's how you get the day-night cycles, but I don't know if they actually implemented any kind of orbit mechanic where it actually moves around the sun at intervals or anything like that. So I guess we'll just have to wait and see, wait for the daylight to come back around. So yeah. I want to experiment with this, though, but I'm not really sure what to make of this, because even if it doesn't make hydrogen, which I thought it did, but even if it doesn't, it still should be making oxygen. Even though I don't need it, I don't care. It's kind of the mechanic side of things, that it should be doing what it's supposed to be doing. So if it's not, there's either a problem with the setup, or there's a problem with the actual block, like a bug. But one other thing that we'll probably work on in this pod area over here is maybe doing some kind of, like, turret, or run the conveyor system to where a turret pops up here or something, because a lot of people have been suggesting to use, like, an interior turret or something to keep the former wolves, now zombies, off of us. Which I like. I like that idea, though I do have to make bullets and all that crap. So, but yeah, I'm going to work on this area while it's dark, basically, and see what I can get done, and then we'll check back on that when the sun comes back around and see if it changes anything. Okay, so now the sun's coming up over there. Yeah. So, I don't know how the sun works in this. No, actually, what I'm thinking it's actually doing is something to this effect. Is what I think's going on, to be quite honest. Because it kind of comes up and over like this, and then it goes over that way, and I thought it was going around, but then it comes back up over here. So it's probably doing this kind of thing, in all reality. As you can see, I'm working on the second room-ish thing over here, and since the sun has come up and the solar panel's back on and all that stuff, we can test this, but as you can see, the lights are still not going, so I really don't understand what is going wrong here. The oxygen farm is generating, but the tank is not storing, and it's on stockpile. Even with it off, it's just not doing anything. Yeah. And both of these are set to me. It's not like the ownership is a problem or anything like that. So I really don't know what's going on here. I don't see a use conveyor system switch. Show block and inventory. Because that's something I thought of too, was maybe you have to, like, a assembler set it to use the conveyor system. But That's not an option. So I'm really not sure why that's not working. And the other thing, I'm running into a couple of little problems that I've never run into before. For example, the battery, it shows currently stored power of 1.27 megawatt hours. And it can store up to 3, so it's a little below halfway full. Because 1.5 should be full if that's max stored. Yet, when the base goes dark at night and I turn this to discharge instead of recharge, nothing works. Like, it's almost like this is not connected to the grid somehow, which is weird. Again, when you consider all the ownership stuff is right and everything. So I don't know what's going on. I haven't done survival in a while, so it's not really surprising that there are things that I didn't know about not working correctly or something like that, but I'm wondering if these are genuine bugs, because by all accounts I'm setting them up the way they should be. It's like, even if this doesn't generate hydrogen, which I thought it did, it still should be generating oxygen, and it's connected to the conveyor pipes, but it's just not getting anything. Much in the same way that if all the power goes off and I switch everything to battery operated, nothing works, even though it has enough power that it should actually be working. So I'm a little confused on some of these. Like, I don't mind if it's me. You know, if I get a comment that, oh, well, you set this up wrong. Okay, that's fine. I don't care. But from what I know, it's not set up wrong. So then it's like, excuse me, why aren't you working? And like I said, the primary reason I did the oxygen farm, when a lot of people were like, you don't need it, you're on a planet. I know that part, but I was under the impression that basically kind of like the ice part makes sense because you have hydrogen and oxygen. I don't know how they're explaining it in the solar part thing. Obviously with the, plants in here, they're going more for the hydroponic type. You know, there's plants in there which the sun hits, and through the plant process, the plants give off oxygen, and then you store that and it goes into the tank. That part I get. So if it doesn't make hydrogen, I'm not a scientist, but that would still make sense to me, because I don't think plants give off hydrogen. But water from ice, I get, because, you know, hydrogen, oxygen, H2O. And so that's one of those, like, I get that part if it doesn't work, but it still should be generating oxygen, and it's just not. So, you know, that could have been a misimpression on my part of not knowing. Because I thought somebody told me when I was working on my Corvette build that you could use solar or oxygen farms and they would also generate hydrogen. And basically what I'm using that for is, I know that I don't need the air. I wanted hydrogen for my jetpack and to refill the hydrogen bottles. Now, they've been going pretty well, but you guys know me by now that I mean, for those of you that are subscribers and stuff to my channel, that I like anything renewable. I don't like finite resources in survival games. Minecraft, Empyrean, Subnautica, all of those, I always go, it doesn't even matter if it takes me the whole playthrough, I don't care. As long as there's a method for me that by the end of it I can sit back on my diamond block throne and look around and be like, I will never run out of power now. That's like my goal in these games, is to always get a system to where you're making more than you're using. So that you're self-sufficient. That's my number one thing with any survival game. I want to be able to be self-sufficient. And some of them, there's some games, and I don't know what to do about this corner, I'll be honest. I put that there to bridge the bubble shape that I've been doing along the outline here. But because there's a inverted corner here, I just put an inverted corner, but now that kind of looks unfinished, I guess. It looks a little weird. Yeah, I don't really know. I suppose I could make this floor 2. That's not actually a bad idea. If I did a second floor, I could do like this, and then build the rest of the wall that way. That's not a bad idea. What would that do for me? It would basically put it... Though, if I did that, I'd have to put one here of the same kind of thing, which... I mean, it's doable, but it looks kind of funky. So, I don't know. I don't really like that corner, but it's the best I could figure out to do, and still... I like this kind of look, though, this rounded-edged, modular kind of bubble. I like that kind of stuff. I feel like that looks fairly legitimate as far as, you know, something I could see them actually doing in a real space colony. It would be like all these modular pod kind of things with rounded edges or something. So I could see that very easily. So, yeah, I'm not really sure where some of these bugs are coming into play, because I thought I was doing them correctly. But it's lending itself more towards the not-so-much department. Because batteries aren't really working. If I turn on the reactor, it works, and everything's powered, and it's fine. But if the solar panels are dark, and the reactor's off, nothing works. And I don't really know why, because, I mean, like I showed, I've got a battery plugged in here. And it says stored power, but if I turn it off, with nothing else, there's no other power source, but if I turn it off and set it to discharge, there's no output, like it doesn't go anywhere, and then the depleted time is just a dash, like it's not being used. And I don't get it. I don't know why. Because, for all intents and purposes, I have it on the grid, it should work, but it's not. The next step is conveyors, probably. Oh, I need interior plates. Okay, I did use quite a bit of my steel. We're down to 2100. And that's not really low or anything, but we had like 4,000 or 5,000. So I put quite a few of our steel plates into this. And I don't know what stone is used for, but I've got stone for days because I had to dig out some of that mountain to get the terrain flat and usable. Like this part in here, I had to dig out some of it to make it to where there was no terrain coming through the ground. And because of that, you know, I'm going to leave this here for now. Mainly because I have no idea what I want to do with it. I did leave a walkway space here of, you know, you could walk this way and go around, but then I left a space for conveyor tubes unless I want to go up and over or something less invasive. I don't really know. We do need some lights, though. That needs to be a thing. Oh, maybe we could put the refinery in here. Would that fit anywhere? Because this thing is huge. I don't remember how long it's been that way, but this thing, this block, is just gigantic. I don't actually even remember what the spacing is on it. Actually, I think I'm one block short here. I can't see because I keep my views too far out of the way, which is annoying. Actually, let's do this. And it doesn't show me. Dang nabbit. You're not helping me, game. You're not helping me figure out what I need to figure out. Oh, it's probably... Is it 3 tall? It's probably 3 tall, so that might be the width. I'm not really sure, but it might be too tall. So anyways, the refinery won't fit in there unless I pop the roof off. But, yeah. Let's go for... We don't need one of those. We don't need those anymore. Do probably need an ore detector. Lights, though. I need lights. We could do corner lights. Let's grab corner lights and the interior lights and just see where we... I could put lights along here. That might not be a bad idea. Construction component. Okay. So let's grab that. I don't really remember what else the conveyors need. I guess that's it. Perfect. Okay. What is... Okay, they have doubles and they have regulars, basically, so nothing crazy. Let's put it on this side, I think. And then... I don't know how bright these are, so I don't know how many of them I need, but for now, let's just put 2 there. That should be enough. I mean, we can always kind of tweak the... Oh, gosh, no. That's not nearly bright enough. So let's crank up the radius to, like, 4. That's a little bit better. So maybe we'll put one right here. Oh, sweet. I ended up being, like, symmetrical and all that, and I wasn't even meaning to. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And I haven't lit this up or anything, or put windows in or anything, because honestly I don't know what I'm doing with it. I just wanted to build another room so I had a bit more space to move around, because this is pretty cramped. And we'll probably expand this as we go, too. I did put the storage crates there, so we have like 3 or 4. I think it's 3. So we'll probably expand this a little bit as we evolve the base a little. But overall, I wanted to kind of just expand that out a little bit so we have a little bit more room to work with. We could actually... I was just thinking about what we could do with this new room and stuff. We could actually convert this a little bit to where this room ends up being more the entry storage, blah, 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 blah. Like, you could have these conveyors come back to storage, to like a 3-block storage container unit or something like that. And then make this the more like production and have like the refinery over here. Actually, you know what? I might do that. I just don't know how to dismantle everything and in what order. So nothing's sitting on this part. And this is all there, but I could probably dismantle this because this isn't doing me any good right now. Yeah, let me do that actually. Let me dismantle some stuff. We're gonna move some stuff around and then we'll probably wrap this episode up. Alrighty, so I've been doing some tinkering. I moved a few things around. We've got our... I'm going to turn my lights on just for now until we get more lighting squared away. I moved the storage crates over here, so you've got crate, and a crate back there with a conveyor in the middle there. Though I guess I didn't need that. I could have made that another crate and they all would have still connected. I was thinking I needed a junction, but I forgot that containers kind of act like conveyors in a way. They can just store stuff. So I probably should switch that out at some point. And then I put my reactor right here. It's a little out of the way, but I can still get to it if I need to. The medical room is moved over here as a temporary thing. I needed to get it out of the way. I don't think that's where it's going to stay. But I also managed to extend the ceiling up to where we could fit a refinery in here. Now, I've kind of screwed it up a little bit in that there's a conveyor back here that connects to the refinery, but then the refinery goes all the way up to the top, so I can't really use these extra ports off the refinery to keep it going. I can use this up here, or I can put stuff in the other room, but I kind of wanted to have this wrap around, so we'll see how that goes. I may end up moving this a little bit over and having a connection in the middle or something like that. It all just depends on where we end up going with it. And like I said, the medical room got put over here kind of just as a temporary thing, but I don't think it's going to stay there. A lot just depends on where I end up going with the actual structure of the base. But as you can see, it's getting a little more modular and fleshed out a little bit. It's a little less just hobbit hole and a little more functional. Or at least kind of like cemented type of thing, like, you know, it's not just we're surviving in a hut. I also should point out, I just realized I haven't seen a single zombie. I switched them over to zombies, but now they're not showing up. So I don't know if that mod still works or not. I mean, we saw one at the very beginning of the episode, but that's the only one I've seen this whole time. I've probably been on this map for a couple hours at least, working on doing all this and expanding and building and everything, and I haven't seen or heard a peep out of any of the zombies. So I don't know if that mod is working correctly. It did seem to change them, because we saw one. But that was it. That's the only one I've seen after that. I do think, by the way, I will probably be going more this way and that way kind of things, rather than going up. Unless I go up and over, because I don't want to have to dig into the mountain. I mean, a little bit here and there like this, where you just build the back corner into the wall, is okay. But I don't want to have to do a whole ton of drilling to just level out the terrain and stuff. So if I go further back up the mountain, it'll be like up and over until you hit that, and then you go up and over again. Otherwise, we'll probably be going out and down, I'm thinking. So let me know what you guys think about that, as far as should we go up the mountain or not. That could be kind of cool, as far as it would look more like one of those villa-type bases hanging off the side of a cliff, which could be interesting. You know, we could work our way up into those cliff sides and hanging buildings and stuff like that. It might be fun. I just definitely don't want to dig. I don't mind building up and going along and following the terrain. I just don't want to have to tear the terrain all up, because this room over here that I just built, for any of you guru geniuses that paid attention to what it looked like before, you probably have already figured out, you know, that a lot of this had to get dug out so that the ground was flat. I mentioned that earlier, and it was just tedious and, you know, tough to do. So I don't really want to do that. If I go up again, it'll be like this, where you stop where you know, you would start here and then run that line over until you get to where, well, now I'm running into the wall, and then you stop there, you know, that kind of thing. And you have like bridges and catwalks and things that lead to and that might be an interesting idea in a way, because I could have like a stairway that comes up here, and then you do an open catwalk, not a covered tunnel, but an open catwalk that you like walk out over to this part, and then this part is like another modular, because I did kind of like an enclosed tunnel here to protect the conveyor tube, but I could do it a little differently. So we could do a lot with it. Just let me know what you guys think, as far as ideas, what you think would be cool, or something you haven't seen done. Maybe, you know, eventually, after I get more established and I got a good supply line of materials and stuff coming in, eventually we could do stuff like, you have a base up here, but then you like tunneled out something and made like an underground passageway or something. You know, just things like that that make it a little bit more interesting and fun. And yeah. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at this point. I don't know what to do with some of the bugs that I'm running into, like the oxygen generator not doing anything, or oxygen farm. Oh, that's right, I didn't ever rebuild my oxygen generator, so I'll have to finagle that around and find a spot to do that somewhere. I'm almost wondering if I did this a bit more functional, in terms of, like, rather than trying to enclose and have a base room that's like, this is where your hydrogen tank goes, having just like a hydrogen tank out here with like some railing around it or something, make it look a little decorative, but, you know, it's basically just a tube that connects to the tank, and the tank just sits out here almost like a giant propane tank that sits outside of a base kind of thing. See that? There, it did it for a second where it lost power. I'm guessing because of where the solar panels are. That one, they've only got one going. But yet the battery, when I set it to discharge, won't power any of this stuff. So I don't get it. I don't know what's going on with that. But I think that's going to do it for us for this episode. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. In the meantime, I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.